Like and subscribe right now, or this creepy woman will haunt your dreams. Don't take any chances now. It is that time, guys. We gotta revisit the Infernal Shielder kit and determine whether you should or should not buy this kit and whether it's worth your Robux or whether it's not worth your Robux. That said, we're going to jump into some gameplay and we're going to jump into some pros and cons of the kit after its rework, and then at the end I will give you guys my full opinion on whether or not I think it's worth your Robux or not. So on that note, get that gameplay rolling. Okay, so we got that sweet, juicy Infernal Shielder gameplay rolling. Let's jump right into these pros and cons. I got like 5 pros and 3 cons for you, just so you know. Now, those numbers mean a whole lot of nothing because those pros and cons weigh differently on what they are talking about. So, without any further ado, let's jump into that first pro. The first pro is that this kit can almost reflect every single projectile in the game, including even Spirit Catcher spirits, the big if there, if they hit you directly. If they throw them near you, they're still going to hit you. But it can reflect almost every single projectile in the game. Fireballs, arrows, fireworks. Even though some of those items aren't even in the game still, it still can reflect them in custom games as well. Or Lucky Block, where you might be able to find some of those things. Number 2, the second pro is that it can cross bridges without worry. You ever worried about crossing a bridge because people are just bow spamming away in your lobby? Not anymore. You got the shielder kit on, you just put your shield on that you start the game with for free, and you cruise across them bridges. You just breeze on by happily, you know? You just put your shield up and you cruise on down. Crossing bridges feels super safe with this kit. Way safer than you normally would. Now, that said, you can always use your eyeballs and just make sure no one's looking at you with a bow to cross bridges, but then, you know, even if somebody is watching you with the shield kit, you don't care because you just go anyways. Then third pro we got is that it's easier to rotate around the map due to the shield. So regardless if somebody's holding mid down with a bow and spamming at you, you can push this guy. Say he's in mid and he's spamming a crossbow because he's trying to hold the emerald generator. You say, nope, not today as the shielder, and you put your shield up and you charge this man down. You say, no, I'm coming mid with you, and his arrows just reflect off you back at him. Maybe one hits him, maybe one doesn't if he's smart. And either way, you're just able to overall just cruise the map and rotate wherever you'd like a whole lot easier with this kit, because any bridge is a way for you to cross the map, regardless of who's watching, because you can just zip on by because you got that reflect. And that is going to lead us into our fourth pro, which is a pretty big one and something you'll notice kind of in this gameplay, or maybe the people were just noobs, I'm not sure. In my experience since playing this kit since the update, I've noticed that when people see you in the kit skin and stuff, or they see you with a shield, they just don't buy bows. So that is our fourth pro here. People, when they see you in this kit, just don't buy bows. They feel like their iron's a waste to buy that early game bow, and even then sometimes they're even going to question buying a crossbow because these are very expensive things to be buying, and normally they're really strong, but if you see a shielder running around, you know that strong thing that you just invested a bunch of resources in is going to be useless. So I think when people see a shielder kit, they do somewhat think in their head, maybe I shouldn't buy a bow because, you know, he's just going to reflect all my arrows. So that is super cool. Same thing with fireballs. I don't think I've seen a lot of people using as many fireballs either. Now, fireballs can blow up near you and hit you, but if you get yourself in the way of that fireball, you can still reflect that fireball. And so I just noticed people don't buy as much projectile items if they see a shielder kit running around. So that is something I'm going to count as a pro, because I feel like when people see the kit, they're just going to be like, I don't really want to buy projectiles because it's going to be hard to use them against him, and if he pushes me, I've wasted my money into a bow, and now he outgears me in armor or a sword because I bought a bow, and he can push me down and rush me because he has that shield. Now, the fifth pro here is a very, 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 very debatable pro, because it's only going to last for so long, and it might even be patched when you're watching this video. There's 2 super OP glitches I know with this kit, one that I made a video on it, and then one that I've seen else floating around on the internet. And both glitches are very overpowered, super strong, some of the strongest glitches we've seen in a while, and they're fun to mess around with and they're OP, so I'm going to put that as like a 5th kind of pro. Count it if you want. Maybe it's gone by the time you're seeing this and it's not a pro anymore, but you know, maybe it's something cool to have mess around with at the time. Next up though, we are going to be moving into those cons. Those 3 cons I have here are pretty juicy cons. Now, you may be wondering, what are those cons? Well, hold on now, because we're going to jump right into the first one right now. So, the first con of the Infernal Shielder kit is that it's worthless in melee fights. So yes, you can push a bow or whatever projectile spammer you are up against, and you can push them with your shield, but that shield is useless as soon as you are in sword range. So just be ready to fight with a sword if you're going to push, because there's no point in using your shield if somebody's right on top of you. And so that is a major con, that you can no longer block melee anymore. You have to fight back. That's your only option. That, or maybe you run away, you get hit and it bounces you away, and you pop your shield up as he's trying to bow shoot you so he can't finish you off or something, you know? But it does not work for melee fights either way. The next con is going to be that smart players can time their shots when you're not shielding. So obviously you can't shield and build at the same time, so I guess that could be somewhat of a con in its own. But while you put your shield away real quick to build, and a smart player sees that and he just snipes you real quick. Bah! He sees you put your shield down. So he takes that and he sees it and he just shoots you, because he knows you're not expecting to get shot because you're a shielder, and so he plays to your weakness, that when your shield's away, he knows he can shoot you. So you're not completely immortal to projectiles, but you are when your shield is out. But you have to put your shield away sometimes, so whether you're building or sword fighting, you cannot have it out, because you will just die. And then the last con I got on my list is that fireballs and spirits, or anything in general that does an explosive. I haven't tested everything because it would take me a long time to test every little thing, but I'm going to just assume broadly that anything that explodes. I have tested this with fireballs, spirits, and carrot cannon. All three of those things, if they explode near you, will hit you. The only way it's going to reflect those is if they hit you directly and they bounce back off. But if they hit near your feet or they hit a wall near you, they are still going to blow up and hit you for an AoE amount of damage. So that is something you need to worry about. I think almost anything that does an area of effect or AoE damage is probably going to deal some sort of damage to you and not reflect back at the person using it. On that note, that is all the pros and cons, so now it's time for the opinion part of this video. If you hate my opinions, then I would recommend clicking off the video, because this is where the opinions come in and not so much the facts. So, should you buy this kit? After playing this kit a little bit yesterday and today and messing with a glitch and whatever else, glitches all aside, because I'm not going to count glitches, because eventually they're going to get patched. So, glitches out of the way, the kit, what it's supposed to be doing, and what it doesn't do for you. Should you or should you not buy it? I think this is a very good buff for Shielder. By no means do I find it overpowered. There's many times I push somebody with the shield and I get into a melee fight and I realize that they're like an Aerie or a Barb or something, and they're just better at offense than me. So despite, yes, I pushed a bridge with my shield up and I was able to get over there because they couldn't bow spam me or something, you're still gonna feel weaker in a sense to some other kits that you have options to in a sword fight. And that's what you mainly are going to take as an Infernal Shielder, is a sword fight, because typically you use your shield in the manner to bully projectiles. Unless you want to use your shield in between like a bow fight, you could do that too. That said, the defense you get against projectiles is like nothing else in the game. There is nothing else in the game that can stop and reflect projectiles like Infernal Shielder's shield can right now. So, for that alone, it is a super fun kit to have in your collection. I've owned it for over 9 months. When you look back at my old video on whether you should or should not buy it, I've owned this kit for 9 months, and it got put on the shelf for a very long time. But now I think I'm going to be bringing him back out and playing him myself a little bit. So, if you got a spare 400 Robux, you got no plans for it, I would say go ahead and add Infernal Shielder to your collection of kits. It is super fun. And overall, if you're like a diamond generator collector, or you know you're crossing bridges a lot, or you deal with a lot of bow spammers, this kit is really going to fit that niche more than it ever has before. And on that note, guys, I think that's all I need to tell you about this kit. Hopefully I either helped you save your Robux with this video, or maybe I convinced you to spend your Robux. Either way, make sure to drop me a like and possibly subscribe. It does help out a ton. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this video by thanking those YouTube members. So thanks Mama P's, Redwood Deadwood, Easter Axolotl, A9 Gaming, Darkest Troller, Finally Cringe, Giftogent, Epic Gaming, and Wolfite. Thank you all so much for being members of the channel. It does help out a ton. And on that note, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.